how's it going? My name is MistyqBleu and welcome to my channel. If you're here for the first time, please click the subscribe button below and give me a thumbs up or 2 thumbs ups. And feel free to leave me a comment because I would really love to hear from you. Today's vlog is a very interesting one. Growing up, we used to have an Indian housekeeper named Vali who was an excellent chef, and this was one of our favorite dishes, and she taught me how to cook this when I was pretty young, probably about 9 or 10 years old, and hey, I can cook this with my eyes closed. Anyway, this is a simplified version of chicken veroual. It's so easy to make, but what you need is patience and uses very little ingredients. The herbs that I use are just, hang on, you should watch it until the end anyway. Please keep watching to find out what kind of herbs I used. Anyway, if you are someone who has very sensitive taste buds and do not like certain herbs, this will be excellent for you. And also, if you are lactose intolerant, then this is an excellent dish for you also, because it's milkless, no need coconut milk at all, and hey, it's also more healthy because it cuts off all the fats. Now, the thing about cooking curry is that you need time. If you don't have time, then use a Claypot. Like me, I use a Claypot. It actually accelerated the process a lot more. Usually I will cook curry for about an hour and a half for one whole chicken. This is one whole chicken that I used, so it will take about an hour and a half. Because why? You need to make sure that the paste itself is matured. It's like, you know, the flavor becomes different. You gotta cook it long enough for the flavor to develop. And of course, if it doesn't, then it would still have a slight rawness to it. There are some people who are experts. The moment they taste it, they know, oh, this one needs another half an hour. And sometimes at restaurants also, some of them are actually like restaurant chains here in Malaysia, and I've been to some of them. I had their chili paste, we call it sambal, and I can tell it's been rushed because maybe they cook like in huge batches, but if you do a rush job, you can still taste a little bit of rawness in it. Half an hour is not enough. If it's a lot, then you probably need a longer time. If it's like, you know, this much, then you probably need about 45 minutes to an hour. You gotta make sure that the heat is low and you keep stirring it. And also, it's very important to see that the oil, well, okay, I'm not gonna tell you too much. You gotta watch the entire video to know what I mean, okay? So anyway, I hope you enjoy this vlog and I'll see you in my next one. Cheers! Here are the ingredients for this recipe. I have here one whole chicken. This is a free-range chicken, so it is slightly smaller than those farm chicken. It's about medium size. And the curry powder that I use is from Earthen Pot from Singapore. I must say I have tried so many different curry powders, local ones that are really famous and popular, but it's not as tasty as this one because it has so many different herbs and spices all blended into it. It's really great. You should try it. You can buy it online at Amazon. For one whole free-range chicken, which is medium-sized one. I have 2 onions and 14 shallots. You need about 12 to 15 shallots and 1 clove of garlic. Cut them up into small sizes and then just throw them all into a blender, and we're gonna blend them into smaller pieces. You can add a few more shallots if you like, but not garlic because it changes the entire taste. Just want to show you this is the texture we need. And off to the ginger, and now I'm going to show you a technique on how to remove the ginger skin with a spoon. This is a technique that my mom taught me when I was a kid. It's really easy. See, it's all nice and clean and you can get every corner of it. Now this is a very pretty Japanese hirabachi bowl, which is a grating bowl from my mom, and I just need to grate just 1 centimeter of the ginger, but it's more comfortable to have the entire ginger. Anyway, I use ginger a lot to cook other stuff. And please check out my other ginger recipes. And this is the finely grated ginger texture that we need. And finally, we're off to cook. Heat up the clay pot in low heat, and once it's hot enough, add in some oil. Rule of thumb: so if you have a pot that is very big, just make sure that the entire base is filled with oil. Not too much, but just enough, just so that your garlic and onion will be covered with enough oil. And then after that, splash in some salt. I always use Himalayan pink salt and leave it there for a while. And once it's hot enough, I add in every bit of those onions, shallots, and garlic that we have blended much earlier. Start to simmer in low heat until it's fragrant. Keep stirring so that it won't be burned. And after a while, when you see that the color turns a little bit and it's more fragrant, now we add in the curry leaves. We're gonna put in 4 sprigs of curry leaves and roll them from the top to the bottom bit by bit. This is the 2nd sprig, and then the 3rd and the 4th sprig. And once everything is in there, we're just gonna stir it and let it simmer until it becomes more fragrant. This is like an awesome aromatic base for this recipe. Once you can see that the curry leaves are more crispy, we add in the chicken bit by bit. Now just make sure that the skin side faces down. Don't add the entire chicken at once. Add in, say, half of it, and then you start to stir it and make sure that every bit of it is mixed with the aromats, and then leave it there to simmer for a bit because we want to render down a little bit of fat. Once the meat is slightly cooked and you can see that the flesh turns white, then you add in the rest of the chicken bit by bit. Again, skin face down, and then mix them with the rest of the aromats. If you don't have enough oil, this is the point where you add in a little bit more oil, just so that you can coat every single piece of meat with the aromats. Because I'm not using any other herbs or spices, just these. And once you see that the meat is cooked and the flesh color turns white, then you add in the last sprig of curry leaves. And what we do is, again, we roll it from top to bottom and add in the rest of the leaves. And then we're gonna cook it, stir it, and make sure everything is coated with this beautiful fragrance. Let it simmer down in low heat, and then after a while, what we're gonna do is we're gonna start adding in the curry powder. Again, this is earthen pot curry powder. Instead of the chicken curry powder, I'm using meat curry powder. Why? Because there's so many different spices all blended in there, making it more tasty and so much more convenient, and I don't have to add any other spice. Seriously.
Now this special technique of adding the curry powder on top of the chicken was taught by Vali's grandmother in India. Now all you have to do is make sure that you cover every single piece of meat with the curry powder, I mean the top layer of it, and then we're gonna cook it, fry it a little bit with the oil and the aromats to bring out the flavor of all those spices that have been grinded into the curry powder. Leave it there to simmer in low heat. Again, we're cooking in low heat. Make sure you do not burn your chicken, so keep stirring it. After a few minutes, we're gonna pour in some water into the finely grated ginger, and then we're gonna add this water into the chicken. Now this is my first cup of water. Adding it gently. And then I add in my second cup of water. And then lastly, I add in the third cup of water to make sure that I cover every single bit of it. Well, almost. Anyway, if you have a big chicken, you probably need more than 3 cups of water. Bring it to boil in high heat and let it simmer. Keep stirring and add in 1 tablespoon of brown sugar. Bring it to boil in high heat, and then we're gonna turn it back to low heat. Keep stirring it and you can taste it. Add in more sugar and also salt based on your taste buds. And then what we do is we're gonna cover it, but leave it slightly ajar and check it every few minutes, stir it, make sure that it's not burnt at the bottom. And then we add in a little bit of salt, and then we stir it. Again, it's based on your taste bud. If you watch the entire video, you would know how much sugar and salt I add in here for this one whole chicken. Once can see that the oil has surfaced, the curry is rendered down, and the aromats have turned into paste, then you know that it's ready. What you do is you turn off the heat and cover it, leave it for 10 minutes before you serve it. Such an easy recipe, just a little bit of time. I hope you've enjoyed this vlog, and I'll see you in my next one. Give it a thumbs up. Thanks and cheers!